Here's what's on your feed today. Experts say the school shooting incident in Tacloban may be the first completed attack linked to the online extremist network 764. Members of Iglesia Ni Cristo continue their rally as Senator Rodante Marcoleta faces looming plunder charges. Malacanang hits back at Senator Amy Marcos after she called the administration bangag and lasing sa kapangyarihan. Tropical Depression Henry brings rains and gusty winds over parts of Luzon as it moves across the West Philippine Sea. And Kilauea's latest lava fountaining episode in Hawaii sent molten rock up to 700 feet into the air. Good afternoon, I'm Cheska Liton-Calao. A Senate panel holds a hearing on the Tacloban school shooting with grieving families calling for tougher action against minors involved in heinous crimes. For the latest, Merimon Reyes is reporting live from the Senate. Merimon, what was the focus of the hearing?
Cheska, in the just finished and however suspended hearing of the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality, they focused on checking on online gaming platforms such as Roblox, Minecraft, Egorbox, and others alike, plus a legislative inquiry on the shooting incident involving minors in Tacloban last June 22. And so far, ang nakita kasi nila dito, yung grupo or yung sinasabing violent extremist groups ay ginagawang pugad ang social media, even ang online gaming platforms, and they are recruiting minors, influencing them of certain principles or of doing violent actions and behaviors. And ang nakita nila, ito kasing grupo na to, yung 764 na network, ito ay kalat na rin daw sa iba't ibang mga bansa, including the US and Canada. And national security threat ito sa iba't ibang mga bansa. That's why they're calling for a review sa safeguards sa mga laro, even sa social media, if they are enough. If there are age restrictions, tama ba? Sapat ba yung implementation nito? And ano pa ang kakailanganin to protect children from such influences? Cheska.
Merimon, are these the comments of Senator Risa Ontiveros or did she say something else regarding the online group?
So for Jessica, that was the information relayed to the senator and to the committee. Pero yung info na ito, including yung questionable social media accounts of one of the minors na involved doon or yung suspect sa Tacloban school shooting, questionable din daw. Kasi yung nakita nila dito, after nung shooting incident, the account was poured with comments supporting the child, supposedly supporting the account. At may isa silang nakita dito na supposedly adult groomer ito na sinasabing na-edit na raw siya sa TikTok, tanggalin na raw yung post, tanggalin na raw yung account. Pero lahat ng info na ito, including yung 764 na network, ay ipinadala na raw nila sa NBI for further investigation and verification. Cheska.
Merimon, we've also heard from the families of the victims of the shooting na bahay pag-asa lang ba ang kung saan ipapadala yung mga minors. Have we heard anything else from the families of the victims and what their thoughts are on regarding the minimum age of criminal liability?
Cheska, 6 relatives of victims from the Tacloban shooting incident ang present either face-to-face or online. Pero very emotional sila at mahirap i-recall para sa kanila yung mga nangyari, especially yung time na nakita na raw nila yung anak nila na wala ng buhay at kamalay-malay. Ang sinabi ng isa sa mga magulang, dapat daw reviewin yung batas or reviewin yung pagpapababa ng edad pagdating daw sa criminal responsibility. It's also not enough na dadalhin lang daw sa mga bahay pag-asa etong mga menor de edad na nasasangkot sa heinous crimes. At ang sinasabi pa, lalo-lalo na raw pagdating sa kung may kinalaman daw yung kaso sa pagpatay, hindi raw sapat na ganito lang na ilalagay lang daw sa bahay pag-asa. Yun din yung nasabi ni Senator Raffy Tulfo na dapat may separate facility raw para sa mga ganitong klase ng kaso involving minors na ibang krimen ang kanilang ginawa. And ito yung sinuportahan ng ilan sa mga magulang na nagsalita. And yung sinasabi rin ng mga senador so far sa committee kanina, yun yung ilang mga amendments daw na maaaring tignan sa Juvenile Justice Act. Cheska.
And Merimon, have we heard from the aunt of one of the minors kung saan nakuha yung baril?
Cheska present sa hearing kanina, itong si Sir Arla Pasensya, siya yung tita na pulis nitong si alias Nash na nagpaputok ng baril doon sa Tacloban. Ang pagpapaliwanag niya, nung tinanong siya paano raw nakuha yung baril sa kanya, nung kanyang pamangkin, nung minor de edad, ang sabi, siya lang daw may susi sa kanyang tirahan, siya lang daw nakatira doon, pero pinilit daw ng bata na makapasok sa loob, pinilit daw na mabuksan yung locker kung saan nandoon yung gun box containing the gun itself. At in good faith daw, alam niyang safe and secured supposedly yung firearm. Pero nakuha ng bata and nauwi na nga doon sa insidente yung pangyayari. Yung isa pang natanong as a follow-up ng mga senador tungkol doon is yung idea na dinadala raw sa firing range or shooting range itong menor de edad. Ang sabi naman dyan ni Pasensya, oo raw, pero isang beses lang daw yun dahil sinabi raw ng bata na mataas daw ang tingin niya sa kanyang tita na isang pulis, maging sa mga kapulisan, at gusto niya rin daw maging pulis one day. Kaya dinala daw doon sa firing range. However, hindi satisfied at hindi natuwa ang mga senador sa kanyang sagot dahil tinanong nila kung may idea raw ba siya na bawal magdala ng menor de edad sa mga shooting or firing range. However, ang sagot dyan ni Pasensya, wala raw siyang kaalam-alam na ipinagbabawal daw yun. Cheska.
Mary Mon, ano yung may expect natin in the coming days?
Cheska, for the Senate committee, they are expecting and anticipating another round of inquiry with stakeholders, with civil society groups, organizations, and even agencies na may say tungkol dito. Kasi hindi pa raw tapos eh. Ang nasabi kanina, marami pa raw hindi nakapagsalita, marami pa raw loopholes na kailangang bantayan or tignan, marami pa raw kailangang i-review, especially kung ang pag-uusapan na dito ay on the legislation. So far, for now, ang hinihintay muna natin is yung magiging blueprint ng committee, kung ano na yung magiging plano nila. Pero ang lumalabas pa lang dito is yung pagre-review ng safeguards. Hindi lang sa mga laro, kundi sa mga paaralan mismo, sa mga tahanan, kung saan hinihikayat daw at kailangan yung kooperasyon ng mga magulang, lalo-lalo na sa pagbabantay sa mga bata. Cheska.
Thank you. That was mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes. The Education Department is reminding schools to strictly implement its policy banning the use of gadgets during instructional hours. DepEd said portable electronic devices are prohibited for both students and personnel while classes are ongoing. Exemptions will only be allowed for academic purposes, such as accessing educational platforms and for emergency situations. The ban also covers social media use, online games, content creation, and vlogging during class hours. DepEd also directed field offices to intensify the campaign on the safe and responsible use of the internet and related devices. The 85 peso daily wage hike for minimum wage workers in Metro Manila is drawing pushback from labor groups. ACT Teachers Party List calls it loose change and says it falls short of the living wage needed by families. This was echoed by the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines as it continues to push for a 200 peso legislated wage hike. But the Labor Department defends the increase, saying it went through consultations and considered various factors. This will bring the daily minimum wage in NCR to 780 pesos for non-agricultural workers and 743 pesos for agricultural workers.
Mahabang consultation ito, kasama ang mga employers, bahagi rin po yung mga nangyari, yung kaguluhan sa Middle East, yung pagtaas ng inflation, yung pangangailangan ng ating manggagawa, hindi lamang dito sa Malabon, kundi sa Metro Manila, na maka-adjust ng kanilang kakayanan para makahabol po yung purchasing power ng kanilang kinikita.
In weather, Tropical Depression Henry maintains its strength over the West Philippine Sea. It was last spotted 240 kilometers west-southwest of Bataan, packing winds of up to 45 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 55 kilometers per hour. Henry may reach tropical storm category by tomorrow evening, but it is forecast to already exit the country by tonight or tomorrow morning. Henry brings rains with gusty winds over Zambales and Bataan. Scattered rains are expected over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Bulacan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Oriental Mindoro, Occidental Mindoro, and Marinduque. The rest of the country may also expect rains due to habagat and localized thunderstorms. Meanwhile, the water level at Angat Dam has dropped further, remaining below the critical 160-meter mark. As of Wednesday morning, the water level stood at 159.90 meters. This is down 5 centimeters from the previous day. Angat Dam, the primary water source of Metro Manila, first fell below the critical level last Monday. Pag-asa said the dam's normal high water level is 212 meters above sea level. The Weather Bureau earlier said it expects the dam to begin recovering by the 2nd to 3rd week of July as rainfall from the southwest monsoon becomes more frequent. The Philippines is set to expand its diplomatic presence overseas with new embassies and consular offices expected to open this year. President Bongbong Marcos announced that the country will establish new embassies in Kazakhstan and Ghana, as well as a new consulate general in Miami, Florida. The president said the new missions will provide better consular services for overseas Filipinos, while also strengthening economic, cultural, and political ties with host countries. Marcos also reaffirmed the Philippines' commitment to deeper cooperation with ASEAN and to a rules-based international order. This comes as the country prepares to host several regional diplomatic events this year. More stories when One Newsfeed returns. You're still watching One Newsfeed. The Iglesia ni Cristo rally along EDSA continues this afternoon, with supporters and followers remaining at the protest site as authorities monitor the situation. For the latest developments, we go live to mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. Jazz, what is the situation at the rally site right now?
Yes, Cheska, ngayon ay alas 5 na ng hapon at kumpara natin kaninang umaga ay mas marami na ang volume ng mga tao na nananatili dito para makiisa sa peaceful rally ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Para makakita tayo ng mas better na visual, ipaling ko lang saglit yung camera ko, Cheska. No? As of this moment, ongoing pa yung kanilang program at sa ngayon ay mayroong mga kantahan, open mic at sa ngayon ito yung sa aking likuran, umapaw na yung mga tao dito sa side ng White Plains Avenue. Medyo malayo lang tayo doon sa entablado pero ito yung ating nakikita. Merong mga placards na nakatayo. Meron din nagsiksikan doon sa may bandang harapan ng entablado which is kung ikukumpara natin kanina, Cheska, no, medyo mas maluwag yung crowd. Maybe due to the weather din kasi kaninang umaga ay medyo mainit nga yung panahon at medyo pabugso-bugso yung ulan kaya hindi kasing dami ng volume ng tao compared today na talagang gabi, mas marami na yung mga nakastay dito. And kanina dumating si Batangas First District Leandro Leviste and according to him, mas marami nga daw mga darating pa ngayong gabi papagabi at yung ilan sa kanyang mga kasama, around 500 constituents niya ay not necessarily hindi sila member ng INC but makikisa sila dito sa kilos protesta upang makiisa nga sa kanilang pagtitipon. Cheska.
Jazz, mas maraming tao ngayon compared to this morning. Do we have an estimate of how many people so far have attended as compared to yesterday?
Yes, Cheska. As of this moment, wala pa tayong latest crowd estimate as of 5 p.m. But yung huli natin before mag 4 p.m. is around 6,000 na yan. Comparing kahapon, although mas marami yung kahapon which reached about 9,000 if I'm not mistaken. Same time last kahapon. But we can say na from the morning, kasi kanina, Cheska, minomonitor natin yung dami ng tao based na rin sa inilalabas sa crowd estimate ng QCPD from 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and now it has reached 6,000. Pero kanina, Cheska, that is crowd estimate for 4 p.m. and the mga oras pa na yun, sa pinakita natin kanina na crowd na puno na at continuous na yung protest na siksikan na, hindi pa ganyan yung sitwasyon kaninang 4 p.m. So we can presume na mas marami na ngayon dahil kanina, Cheska, dito lang sa bandang entablado yung siksikan but pati dito sa bungad ng White Plains Avenue, pati na rin dito sa aking likuran, na nasa White Plains pa rin naman tayo, but mahaba na yung kalsadang kanilang na-occupy as of this moment. We do not know if habang papagabi, mas madadagdagan pa ito, but we can say from our observation, mas marami na ang volume ng mga tao compared to this morning. Cheska.
Jazz, kung nagdadatingan pa rin ang mga tao, yung permit reportedly only allows the rally until 8 p.m. So yung mga organizers, nagsabi na ba sila if may intention sila umalis na by 8 p.m. or mag-e-extend pa ba?
Yes, Cheska. As of now, base na rin sa naging panayam ng ating programa with the Secretary John Vic Remulla, ay wala pa raw lumalapit or wala pang request from the organizers to extend their activity tonight, which is alam nga natin hanggang 8 p.m. lang yung kanilang permit. Ayon kay Secretary by 7:30, if wala pa silang request to extend, they will be notifying your organizers o mag-aabiso sila na kailangan na nga nilang mag-wrap up by 8 p.m. But we will also monitor within the next hour, di natin alam magkaroon ng permit dahil around 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. na rin natin nakita na lumabas yung permit. So we will be following that story kung magkakaroon ba sila ng permit or mag-extend sila dahil Cheska, ang pagkakaalam din natin according kay Batangas First District Leandro Viste, ang sabi niya kanina, yung mga constituents niya na isinama papunta dito from Liwasong Bonifacio ay mag-overnight na dito na sila mag-i-stay. So we can presume na they're staying until tonight, baka meron pang program for tomorrow or baka manatili pa itong program hanggang mamayang gabi later tonight. So we don't know yet, but we're still waiting kung magkakaroon ba ng communication yung organizers to extend with the QC local government unit. Cheska.
Jazz, if may mga participants na mag-remain dyan, even after the permitted hours, may nasabi na bang plano ang law enforcement? May na-outline na bang police kung paano nila planong i-handle yung sitwasyon?
Cheska, base na rin doon sa ating naging interviews kanina with the local officials, isa yan sa mga concerns. Yun sa kanila, aantayin nga doon nila kung magkakaroon ng permit or ng pagpapaalam nga kung mag-stay overnight dito. Dahil according sa kanila, kapag mag-stay overnight dito nga yung mga nakiisa sa protesta, then it will require another set or mag-disperse ulit sila, mag-deploy sila another set of personnel. Siyempre, kailangan din i-secure yung kanilang safety, babantayan din yung lugar. But as of now, we don't know yet what their actions will be kung may mag-overnight and wala pang permit. But as lagi nilang sinasabi, maximum tolerance will always be observed dahil nga alam nila that this is a peaceful rally and wala naman daw nagiging problem so far. And they are complying din so far sa naging parameters ng permit na nirelease yesterday, but we will be following din that Cheska, baka natin around 7:30 p.m. kung ano yung magiging development, if magtatapos na ba or mag-extend pa. We will update Cheska kung ano ang mangyayari habang papalapit ang gabi.
Thank you for those updates, Mobile Journal Jazz Paredes. Malacanang is urging the leadership of the Iglesia ni Cristo to remain vigilant against groups that may try to exploit its ongoing rallies to destabilize the government. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said authorities are looking into social media reports claiming some groups may be planning to storm government offices, including Malacanang. She said the reports have yet to be verified, but assured the public that the government is prepared to respond to any threat. Castro also stressed that the palace does not believe the Iglesia ni Cristo is involved in any destabilization plot. She added that the government respects the group's calls for transparency and accountability as its members continue to hold rallies in support of Senators Rodante Marcoleta.
Hindi namin paniniwalaan na miyembro ng INC ang siyang gagawa nito. Dahil sabi nga natin, ginagalang natin ang integridad, ang liderato ng INC. Hindi naman siguro ang purpose ng kanilang protesta ay mag-destabilize. Kaya nga po sa ngayon, ang pakiusap po natin sa liderato ng INC, maging maingat din po sila at baka sila ay magamit ng ibang mga tao na ang naisin ay patalsikin ang Pangulo.
Malacanang has responded to Senator Imy's remarks during the INC's flash rally last night. In her speech, Senator Marcos called the Marcos administration bangag and drunk with power. But Palace Press Officer Claire Castro fired back, saying the senator stayed silent when former President Rodrigo Duterte admitted to using marijuana while in office. Castro also accused Marcos of relying on fake news to attack the government and spread misinformation.
Sadyang pipiliin pa bumiyahe, makihalubilo sa Canada, sa mga dayuhan sa Amerika, habang ang Pilipino ay nagdurusa. Pagkat itong gobyerno ay bangag!
2019 siya ay senadora na. 2016 siya naman yata ay gobernador. At kilala naman niya ang dating Pangulong Duterte. Sino ba talaga ang gumagamit ng illegal na droga sa panahon na siya ay Pangulo na? Sa mga pag-amin na ito ni dating Pangulong Duterte, tumahimik siya at wala siyang anumang pintas.
Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla insists that the planned plunder case against Senator Rodante Marcoleta is not an act of selective justice. Remulla earlier announced that the case would be filed against the senator this week. The charges stem from allegations that Marcoleta failed to declare 75 million pesos in alleged campaign donations he received in January 2025. The Iglesia Ni Cristo, however, rejected the move, saying it is an act of selective justice and a distortion of the law. Remulla also reacted to the INC's rally in support of the senator.
Freedom of expression nila yan, pero it's the wrong premise. There's no selective justice in this country when it comes to the ombudsman.
The Senate Impeachment Court has approved a 92-day trial schedule for Vice President Sara Duterte beginning on July 6. The timeline is significantly shorter than the earlier estimate of 7 to 8 months. Under the pretrial order, the House prosecution will have 62 trial dates, while the defense will have 30. The court will hear 57 prosecution witnesses and 45 defense witnesses under a one-day examination rule unless an extension is granted. The trial will cover 4 articles of impeachment, including alleged misuse of confidential funds, threats against the president, alleged DepEd corruption, and unexplained wealth. The House prosecution panel says it is ready for the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Spokesperson Zia Alonto Adyong said the issuance of the pretrial order shows the case is moving forward as scheduled. He added that the prosecution has granted most of the defense's requests to avoid any further delays. Meantime, he said the vice president's personal appearance at the trial would send a strong message to the public. Earlier, Duterte's defense team said she may appear only if necessary.
It's important because we're talking about the impeachment trial, which the whole country will be watching, and that's the strongest message, a clear message that the vice president can actually deliver to the people by way of, answering these charges.
One Newsfeed will be back after this short break. You're still watching One Newsfeed. Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala is through to the second round of Wimbledon after notching her first ever main draw win at the Grass Court Grand Slam. The 29th seeded Filipina tennis star dominated Mexico's Renata Zarazua in the first round 6-1, 6-2. Ayala won 5 straight games to take the opening set before staying in control throughout the second, backed by a vocal Filipino crowd. The victory improves on her main draw debut last year when she was eliminated in the first round. Ayala will next face Australia's Maya Joint as she looks to continue her breakthrough run at Wimbledon. The U.S. Geological Survey says the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii is not currently erupting. The update comes after the volcano's latest lava fountaining episode ended on June 27 after lasting about 7 hours. During that episode, lava fountains from the north vent reached an estimated height of 600 to 700 feet. The USGS said glowing vents and ground inflation suggest another lava fountaining episode is likely between July 6 and July 10. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory continues to closely monitor the volcano. That wraps up One News Feed, the only feed you need. I'm Cheska Liton-Calao. Good evening.